Alright, let's talk about gun violence. I say as if I'm going to solve this um, politically charged, socially just kind of weighted issue in a 5 or so minute monologue video that nobody's gonna watch, right? Which I think is, in a lot of ways, part of the reason why this problem has never been solved, is that people think that, well, if I monologue about it on the internet for however long, do a Twitter thread rant or something, then all of a sudden everyone's going to be convinced by my opinion, and people will stop buying guns, people will stop buying guns illegally, people will stop shooting people with guns, whatever. But this is the thing. Why do people use guns to hurt people? Why do people use guns to hurt people? Whether that's at school, if that's at county fairs or cultural festivals or community gatherings, churches, doesn't matter where they're at. Why is it that people have chosen to do that? Why do people do that? And this is what I think. Because we like hurting each other. We as human beings enjoy the prospect of hurting one another so long as it is in fact an other. Whether that is skin color, whether that is religious affiliation, whether that is political or state or whatever locality, municipality, some other group. If your team loses a significant contest, fans will tear apart their own city out of outrage at the outcome of adults playing with a children's toy. And they'll even do it if they win as well. I mean, there's the videos and the footage of people in Philadelphia spreading Crisco and lard over the fence posts and the light posts all over the central areas and the downtown areas of the city, because they expected people to come pouring out of the stadium there and literally raising hell all in that area, getting drunk and rowdy and fighting and turning over cars. I remember as a kid when the Raiders lost the Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which they were just annihilated. They were just brutalized. Immediately after that, Oakland basically had to declare a state of emergency and everything because people were turning the city inside out. Because of grown men being paid millions of dollars to move a ball. And the outcome of that was not their preference. So, if the election doesn't go your way, if the debate doesn't discuss things in the way that you wish that it had, if, whatever, we don't really need a precise excuse to begin labeling people, human beings, image bearers of God, as an other, and then using that label of otherness, whether that's a different party or a different whatever, using that label of other to begin deriding and degrading, humiliating, whatever, that other group. Which, I mean, James made it very clear in the Bible where it says, the same organ, the tongue, that is used to glorify God on Sundays, back then it was whenever it was, on the Sabbath and things, the same organ used to glorify God is the same one used to slander man. And that should not be. That our tongue is literally set on fire by hell itself. That if a person could master their own tongue, that they would be able to master every other part of themselves. and be perfect in every way. Like, that's the stakes that we're dealing with, right? That's how serious we're talking. And so when Jesus raised the stakes in the Sermon on the Mount, saying that if you have insulted someone else, if you've hated someone else, that you've already murdered them in your heart, that it doesn't matter if you chamber around in their direction or not, because you're already a murderer by God's standard. So what does, like, of course we do not want to encourage, at the very least, the idea that killing people is acceptable. What I'm saying, and what I believe Scripture has very clearly described, is the fact that even if you didn't chamber the round, you didn't aim the barrel, you didn't pull the trigger, you are just as much guilty of murder in the eyes of God, of the person who cut you off in traffic, the person who got in line ahead of you at Starbucks, the person who maligned your political candidate. You are just as guilty as they are. You don't have a moral high ground. And as long as you continue to pretend like you do, you will never solve the problem, the root issue that is underneath these people that are taking guns and hurting other people, because you are just as bloodstained as they are. So, it's my 2 cents. Maybe you disagree. Go ahead. I want to hear from you.